Good afternoon, good morning, welcome folks. Good morning, Carolyn, Najam, Ryan. Great to see you guys. Hope everyone's okay. Quite a good run up yesterday in the end. Oh yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's very hot. I went for a little run just before the session and very nice. I went a bit earlier just to avoid the heat of the day. Oh, it's hot. Gonna give folks 30 seconds or so to sign on in. My two cats are struggling in this heat with their fur coats, so oh, nice, Ryan. Oh, very good. 7K, well done. That's good. I do a timed run once a week where I run for 1 hour. And I found that really helps just with your general stamina. Not training or anything, it's just stamina for life, essentially. But I thought when I run for 60 minutes, well, it's the right weather, bikini weather. Oh, dear. I was out with my wife in the garden yesterday, and me and the cats and my wife. It was very pleasant. It feels like being on holiday. It's that kind of nice weather. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very hot. We've got 2 or 3 more days of it, haven't we? All right, folks, let's jump into the session. So, volatility is at a very low level. It's at the lowest level of the year. So just straight away, just jumping into the VIX kind of tells you everything you need to know, really. VIX pushing lower. And this is all on the expectations that one, the Fed's going to cut interest rates in September. You can see the interest rate cuts expectations. They've dropped after that latest weak jobs report. Now, crucially, we had that weak CPI print from yesterday. Weak is probably the wrong word. Benign is probably better. That's the word that I'm seeing bandied around. In other words, that the US inflation print wasn't alarming to anyone and wasn't contradicting a interest rate cut from the Fed in September. We've also had Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent calling on the Fed to lower interest rates by 150 basis points. And a lot of pressure now on the Fed to cut interest rates. And this inflation reading is saying, hang on, tariff turmoil is not injecting inflation immediately into the data. That's the big picture, right? That's what allowed stocks to run up yesterday. Any concerns that they were on the slight uptick in inflation were downplayed. And you can see here, all you need to know, interest rate expectations unchanged, VIX pushing lower, right? That has lifted equity markets across the board. That's also sent the dollar lower, as you'd expect, and a big bid coming into treasuries now. So US 10-year bonds moving lower as treasuries are bid on interest rate expectations cuts. The dollar pushing lower through that near-term support. So all of that has been a natural tailwind for dollar pairs. We saw that euro dollar lot. Now remember, just want to point this out to you folks, just so you can see it. It's a nice little technical point to note. We were remember looking at this euro dollar long, right? And remember I said this false break of this Harami inside bar. You see that false break of the Harami inside bar? Remember I said look for a touch of the nose of that. Do you see how you got that? You'll see this over and over again. Now, if you remember, Najam and I were trying to get in on that. I got in it, got it to break even before the data, but then got stopped out on the data, right? That's just the way it goes. But you can see the logic was good. Nose touch and looking for a push up, and then on the actual data, looking for it to move. Yeah, I didn't get anything out of it, Najam. I was taken out of break even before the event, and price was so close. Anyway, I was going to remove anyway. It's trying to work on this logic. Push back, dip, little bounce, then see if I can get to break even. But just notice as well, Harami inside bar false break. So technically that was strong, okay? It's just something to notice. And again, we had a bullish engulfing bar rejecting that from that level. Harami inside bar, pin bar, break. We had that initial long after the weak NFP, remember? Took profit up at the highs. Looked to get back on the pullback, weren't able to. Pound dollar, similarly pushing up. Let's see if we got that. Out of that kind of channel. Again, the pound is gaining after that weak, it's not weak, surprising Bank of England meeting where more people were invited, were advocating for interest rate levels to be held, right? and it was only a marginal win for the cut, and that's just allowed the pound to gain. And you can see in the currency space, where is it? Pound sort of been enjoying strength on the session, and it's mainly the dollar weakness.
Just making you aware,
it's also the Bank of England
previously guided, President Trump is holding a phone call now with Ukrainian President Zelensky and several European leaders ahead of the summit with Putin on Friday, according to Axios.
Okay, just be aware Trump is chatting to Zelensky, so that could be significant. And you can see the Bank of England, look at the interest rate expectations, they have changed from a week ago. So it's higher for longer. That's been supporting the pound. So pound dollar upside, euro dollar upside is fine. That's the broad sentiment. And the economic calendar is saying CPI is benign. There's PPI coming on Thursday. Other than, higher for longer. Other than that, the only slight nuance is that there is sort of a school of thought that says, hang on, the UK economy might still be slowing. So I haven't been able to take a high conviction pound dollar long, unlike I was able to take a high conviction euro dollar long after the NFP. So, but the interest rate expectation change tells you that certainly short-term interest rate markets do see a change higher for longer. So that does support the pound dollar upside. So, if you wanted to look for potential dip, we were looking for dips yesterday, weren't we? On the data, dips and pullback. Again, maybe there was like a little triangle pattern there, potentially on the week CPI. At any rate, you can see it's just pushed up and moved higher. Let's just have a little look at that, see if there was when was that? That was early in the morning. Tuesday, here's the data. Up, up, up. Then you got a little, where's the trend line break here with the on-balance volume pushing higher. Pretty messy, but that wouldn't have been unreasonable on the pound. I didn't take it, but just, So with that, and the euro pound continues to track lower on that pound strength. The bearish engulfing bar from resistance, bearish engulfing bar resistance technically in place, and the Bank of England interest rate expectations changing as well. So put that together, okay, now on top of that, silver longs playing out nicely. A little technical thing to point out, silver longs. See Harami inside bar break, right? I was adding on the break of that Harami bar. Now Harami inside bar break to the downside, false break taking above the high. So that is now a false break of that. That's a failed pattern. Close above this high, that's a definite failed pattern, and then we're looking to retest highs and carry on. So silver longs just rejoining extra longs there as we've taken out those highs. Happy to join long on balance volume pushing higher. Also happy to start looking at scaling in gold. Gold positions look attractive to me. We've got that 50 exponential moving average, right? Just holding. Held, false break, pushed up, held. So with that break of that exponential moving average, I'm happy to look at this, and we've looked at this before now, Jen, weren't you? This sort of big symmetrical triangle pattern. I like it. I think there's more potential upside for gold. And you've got this strong condensing price action. I like it. So I'm looking at that to potentially break out of this level. So I'm taking a long, no leverage, right? So just buying sort of a long position in on that, but very bullish bias. Break underneath those lows, I think, again, but otherwise you've got clear false break at that level, potentially a false break of this structure here. So we'll see, but I prefer to play this as a big long triangle. Breakout above, certainly look for those 300-400. Yeah, it is. It's holding up nicely. I do like it, and you can see the structures are very bullish. Now, heading into the session, the data to look for, very weak data. Got Barkin speaking, has already spoken. One, we got EIA data. They projected a lot of build up in oil stocks. So oil looks really weak at the moment, but obviously you've got Trump meeting Putin on Friday, so that could impact that. The other speakers we have, Bostich at 6:30, Goolsby at 6, Trump making an announcement at 4:30. I'm not sure what that's about, but you can see volatility lower. So where are we opening? Right, we're opening above yesterday's value area, and we're opening above the European Asian value area high. So the market is clearly in imbalance. So we're looking to go long in line with the rhythm pull back to value area highs, ideal, back into that area, ideal, back into that area, ideal, breakout above, looking to go with the delta higher. Looking at the 15 minutes, you can see you got the value area high. Sorry, that's the weekly chart. Value area high from the week, price pushed above, held, and has pushed up. That makes sense. The 15-minute.
Just getting confirmation from a senior Trump admin official on the earlier interview list. Additions from Jefferies chief market strategist David Zervos, former Fed Governor Larry Lindsey, and BlackRock's Rick Ryder.
Right, value area high from yesterday. We're opening above. Market is clearly in imbalance. The rhythm is here, right? Holding above the first standard deviation. Buyers have come in, trapped sellers. Here, here. So pull back to that area, expect buyers. So that's the expectation. On the 5-minute, you can see again, some sellers have come in, trapped buyers up there. But otherwise, the broad dynamic is 15-minute buyers, standard deviation higher. Look for buyers at that 6482 region. That would be to look at the open. And you can see here on the tick chart, you saw look how the on-balance volume pushed up, broke through those highs, right? And once it broke through the highs, where was the last lot of sellers before the break? The last lot of sellers was here, here, and here. So that means any retracement back down to that standard deviation, expect buyers. So this is an ideal area for expecting buyers at the open. See the logic? Obviously, if we get down underneath that area, we can reconsider, but otherwise, you've got to expect buyers here at the 6483. Folks, with my outlook, that's the thing I'm looking at. We'll come back at the open and take it from there. I don't think there's anything else. No, PPI could move markets a bit tomorrow. Aside from that, just going to trade the order flow. Sorry, and the delta right from the overnight session is positive, 6,000 contracts. So pretty strong buying interest, and of course volatility, lows of the year, folks. Okay, folks, 28 seconds to the open. We've got a 15-minute close, trying to close above these sellers. So that's looking like a pullback to here. And then looking for potential buying on the tick chart. On balance volume, trending higher. See what we can get. So here we go, 3 seconds. Do we get a close above? Right, close above. So looking for a pullback, and then some sellers getting trapped on the tick chart around that 1 standard deviation will be the thing. Okay, so still pulling back. Still pulling back. Still pulling back. Okay, now a little drop. Now, do we get any sellers trapped here? And then we're just looking to see if sellers trapped. Okay, buyers coming in, little buy. Okay. It's closing it on one chart, keeping it open on the other. On balance one is quite flat, quite sideways. Okay, a bit of buying coming in. Got it running on the other account. Okay, on balance volume, trying to trend higher. Okay, see if we can get sellers trapped up here, another long. Right, I've just taken that off, up at the highs. Yeah, we got the 15 trap. Yeah, I should have held that other one, just took it off a little bit prematurely, but I made it on the other account, so that's fine. Yeah, I think that's nice, Najam. I mean, the on-balance volume is pushing up. I was just premature on this account. On-balance volume pushing up. Delta, look, you got those sellers trapped there. You could have added another one, really. That was my bad, really, folks. Oh, sorry about that. At least I got it on one account, so that's nice. Got something decent on it, so